Very sunny Saigon today. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? It's the best time of year in Saigon, and I'm just standing on Đồng Khởi Street, and you might recognise this pretty famous old hotel, the Continental Hotel, and I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? I hope you can. I've come down with a cold. But this is Vietnam's oldest hotel, and it's undergone a lot of changes over the years, but it was built, I believe, around 1880, and I've stayed there before. I've stayed in this corner one here, and of course in the background there is the Caravel Hotel. That's the original building just there, and then this tower here was built, I think, in the 90s. If someone's watching and is a bit of a historian, yeah, I think in the mid-90s the second tower was built. But it's hard to believe that this Caravel here was the tallest, pretty much the tallest building in Saigon back in the day. And it was built, I think, around 1960, but correct me if I'm wrong. There we go, here's some colour coming up here. So thanks for joining me. If you're watching this live and or if you're watching it after the fact, feel free to comment at any stage, and if you know a little bit about the history of Saigon, make sure you make a comment in the comment section. I was going to do a little walk around the area, but I don't know if you can see it. Just there is a massive stage in front of the Opera House. I think you can just see the top of it there. That's the top of the Opera House. And a stage is, I think it's being put up. They were just testing the flames out the front, the, whatever you call them, the torches out the front for some kind of ceremony tonight, probably to wrap up all the Tet festival that's been going on, because today is the last day of the Lunar New Year celebration. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me very well, let me know in the comment section. So yeah, I was going to do a bit of a walk around that area there, but it's actually quite ugly with the massive stage there, and as you can probably see, there's quite a bit of traffic. So I might do that next week or the week after. I'll do a little bit of a walk around there and show you what it's like. For those people who know Saigon really well, make sure you leave comments in the comments section. I might be able to answer some questions you've got, or maybe you know a fair bit about Saigon already, so make sure you let me know. For people who aren't familiar with Saigon, well, I'm walking down one of the most famous streets in the city's history, and I was just reading up on it yesterday a little bit, and the French called it number 6 Street. Often people think that Catanat was the first name of this street, but I believe when the French colonised this part of Vietnam, they named the streets after numbers, interestingly enough, and this was called number 6 Street. And then later on, when the French, after that, they named it Catanat Street. You may have heard of that. Of course, these days it's called Đồng Khởi Street, which means uprising in Vietnamese, and it's related to the war, back in the war days. So let's go for a little bit of a walk and see if I can show you a few interesting things. There's always coconuts there. But let me show you this building here if you've never been to Saigon before. This is, these days, the People's Committee building. The French built it, and originally I believe it was built as, let me go down a little bit further. I believe it was originally built as a hotel. My good friend Wikipedia tells me that it was called Hotel de Ville. So let me try and get you a better look of it at it. It's beautiful today. I think our cool weather is about to leave us. We've had some fantastic weather here in Saigon. It's the best time of year to come to Saigon. So if you're planning on coming to visit, think about coming in February around about this time, because the weather's cooler. But of course, if you head up north, it's going to be a lot cooler. It's about 11 o'clock here in the morning, so hello, I've got a Homan, where are you? Well, I'll show you in just a moment. Here we are here. I'm at the end of Winhui Street, and this is the People's Committee building in Ho Chi Minh City. That's it there. These days you're not allowed in there to view it, but I think this time last year, for a brief moment, the People's Committee allowed visitors to go in and have a look. And unfortunately, when I applied, they said that it was fully booked. And I believe now they've stopped doing that. But look at it. What a beautiful old building. And of course, down here towards the sunlight is Winhui Street. But we're not going to go down there today. Look at that, beautiful. All right, let's cross the street while I can. Okay, I'm just on the street here. So don't forget, fire away with your questions if you've got any. I'll try to answer them. Or if I can't, hopefully someone in the chat or in the comments section will be able to answer them for you. For any of the older crew who know Saigon well, this building here obviously isn't the original building. It was where the Eden building once stood, and now it's Union Square. It's basically a shopping centre. So this street here is Le Tanton Street, and if you walk a couple of blocks in that direction ahead, that's the Japan Town. It's commonly known as the Japan Town area, where there's a lot of Japanese restaurants and massage places, I guess you could say. Okay, for the Aussies in the group, this is the Vincom Centre here, and our consulate is up here somewhere. I'll keep walking along here. Now we're back onto Đồng Khởi Street. So as you can see, the city's coming back to life. Now for history buffs, especially Vietnam War or American War as it's known as here, you'll be really interested in this. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm not sure if you can recognize that, but where am I? Just there, it's poking out the top there. That's the famous location where the helicopter lifted off on, I think it was the 29th of April 1975, the famous Van Ness photo, and it's still there. Sorry, I'm not very good at pointing. There we go, the helicopter. So have a look online and you'll see that there. You'll see the helicopter lifting off there with the line of people. I'm not sure if you can get up there these days. I have been up there. I've got a video on my channel. I can't see your questions or comments at the moment because the sun's shining into my back. But as you can see, the city's starting to come back to life. We've had a week's holiday and usually the city empties out because obviously Saigon is a city that has a lot of migrant workers, and they all go back to their hometowns to celebrate the Lunar New Year. And today they'll all be coming back. Thank you, Homan. Goodbye. Melanie, wow, wish we can still go inside to take a look. Yeah, Mel's referring to this building here. You can just see the top of it there. That's of course where the helicopter took off from the day before the fall of Saigon, April 30, 1975. And I went up there a few years ago. There was a coffee shop up there so you could go up. And then I think they put a kind of like a rooftop pub up there, but it's not operating anymore. But I believe that if you slip the security guard there a little bit of cash, there's a chance to go up there and have a bit of a look. And the view's actually really nice, so check that out. You should be able to find it on my channel. All right, let's continue along here. This is the old Catanat building, and you can see there's a Catanat chain of coffee shops there now. Sorry, I'm not sure. Hang on. If someone knows the name of this building, maybe Melanie, you're watching. I believe Graham Greene also stayed in this when it was residences. I think there still are residences out the back. But these days there's a Catanat coffee chain, and as you can see, Gom Cafe, which is a famous coffee chain as well, just there. Now before, Melanie mentioned that she noticed a slant in the road, how it runs down towards the river. And that's because back in the day, a long time ago, about 100 years ago or so, maybe even more, I would have been standing in the Yadin Citadel. Yadin was the name of Saigon quite a while ago, and at that time, I hope you can hear me, the traffic's getting really busy. There was a citadel right here, and I believe that the main gate was the next block over on the corner of Litu Chom, which is this street here, running down here, and Haibat Jung Street, which is down there a little bit further. It's hard to imagine these days. All right, let's cross. Oh no, I've just missed it. What are you looking for? Just got asked by a some dodgy dude on a motorbike asking me where I was going, what I was looking for. But we still have them these days. All right. Oops. Lucky I saw him. All right, so now we're walking along Đồng Khởi Street towards the cathedral, towards Notre Dame Cathedral. I feel like our cool weather is just about to leave us. Today, the 2nd of February. We might get a little bit of what we call cooler weather here in the evenings and early mornings, but right now it's pretty hot. Just a little bit less humidity at the moment. So thanks to you guys who have joined me during the live. I really appreciate it. It's great. Make sure you ask any questions about where I'm walking or my life in Saigon. I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability. For anyone new watching, I've been living in Saigon for 15 years. Last month was, what do you call it? Anniversary, celebration, or whatever. 15 years living in Saigon. And it's gone pretty quickly, so feel free to ask any questions about living here. I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, here we go. So we're coming up now to Notre Dame, and it's been like this for, well, maybe even nearly 10 years now. I don't know. I've lost count of the years of how long it's been under renovation. So it is a little bit of a letdown for people who come to visit and they want to see the church. It's a major landmark of the city, and unfortunately it's got scaffolding on it. And just over here, that's the post office. We'll walk over in that direction in a moment. And actually around the back of the church, we'll be able to get a little bit of a look at that. But to be honest, there's not a lot to see there. Let's go. Probably not going to talk as much today because I've picked cold overnight, so I'm already dry. Some coffee, street coffee. Hey, ciao. Yeah, post office, yep. 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 So anyone who lives here will know this building pretty well, and you're probably pretty bored of it by now, but anyone who hasn't, this is the, what do you call it, the General Post Office of Saigon, obviously built during the French colonial era. And so if you're into your architecture, there's still some pretty impressive French colonial era buildings that you can see in Saigon. There it is there. Still got a lot of Lunar New Year crowd around. There we go, there's a bit of a better view of the church. That'll give you an idea of it. So if you're into your architecture, if you're into your churches, this might be a spot for you to come. If you want some sugar cane, so this is how it comes, and then they run it through these rollers here. We might get a little bit of a look at it. There we go. And also a little bit of kumquat. So super sweet, obviously. Okay, it's pretty busy around here. Some street snacks. There we go, grilled rice, bun chang noon. And these are quail eggs. Jungkut. Jungkut. Huh? Jungkup. I've got to be careful saying Jungkup because hey, Jungkut là gì? I think if I pronounce it Jungkut, I think it's a bad word. If you're Vietnamese and watching this, let me know. But I've been corrected many times. But with Vietnamese pronunciation, often the T is P. So, for example, the word for number one is mop, but it's spelled T. Here we go. Xoài hả? Xoài. Yeah, these are mango.
Mở hàng em đi.
Mango.
Mua đi. Không có tiền cơm, chụp mà mua đi. Hấp tiền em gì?
Nuôi. Lucky money. Không có tiền. Không có tiền. Vợ của anh có tiền. Nhưng
Anh có tiền hả?
yeah.
Thôi giận luôn. Giận luôn. Đó. Quay nó mất màu.
Bao nhiêu tiền? 50. Okay, so 50,000 for one of these. 50,000 for one of these. And as you can see, in Vietnam, they like to eat them green. See how they're green? So she's peeling it there, and they like to eat these mangoes green. And chili salt. Anyway, she's not happy because she shooed me away because she's probably not legally allowed to sell it there, so she just doesn't want to get into trouble. But not that many people are actually watching this at the moment. Here's another guy cooking up some waffles by the lip. Waffle. Yeah, these things here. Look at all these little snacks.
Fried banana.
Fried banana. Dewy noon. There's his waffle. There.
One.
Come. There you go. There you go. I'll leave him to it. And now this street here is actually quite popular for tourists. This is the book street. Dong Sac, thành phố Ho Chi Minh. So you can go down there. There's no traffic through there, and you can go and check out some books. There's coffee shops and stuff like that down there. It's about, I don't know, 200 meters long, I guess. It's quite a nice little initiative in a city where there's not much peace and quiet. This is something the Vietnamese do really well, especially this time of year. Look at these. Actually, last week in my live, Thomas, you asked about hiring these bicycles that you see around the city. So here's one here. So there's one station just here near the church. So you can rent these bicycles and go around the city and just drop them at other stations depending on where you go. And I think you have to scan the QR code here. Here we go. Might be a bit easier. So there you go. Check that out if you're coming to Saigon and you want to get on the bicycles. But also you need to make sure you can pay online as well. They don't take cash. All right, well, it's getting hot. All right, I'm not going to cross that street. This is also People's Committee over here. This is where I come to get a lot of my documents done. Foreigners living here, we have to get a lot of paperwork done in order to stay in the country, and that's often where we go. All right, just want to make sure I don't get run over here. So now we're on, well, what the Northerners would call Les One Street. That's Diamond Plaza. So Les One or Le One Street for Southerners. The Southerners would pronounce that not with a Z sound. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vietnamese viewers. So the traffic's definitely coming back. And now making my way up to the Reunification Palace. Of course, this year, 2025, this year marks 50 years since the end of the war. And famously, the tanks of the North came down this street and burst through the front gates of what's called now Reunification Palace. So we're heading there just now. Just got to keep an eye out for this traffic, so bear with me. These buses are cool too. If you get to Saigon and you want to have a bit of a look around the city, they'll take you around the city. Really good value. It's a bit cooler here. So this is a really popular park, especially for young people to come and have coffee, and for couples to meet up and take photos and just hang out. Melanie, nice weather, best time to visit. Yeah, I mentioned that before. This time of year is the best time to visit. The only thing, if you're here during that or the Lunar New Year, prices are going to be up, and availability for things is going to be down. So you need to plan well. But in terms of traffic and people in the city, and the weather, it's the best time of year. The only thing is the smog. If you've watched any of my other live videos, you'll have noticed that there's been a lot of smog in Saigon, in Hanoi, also Thailand as well, apparently. So now we're about, 300 meters from the Reunification Palace. Or before that, I think it was called the Independence Palace. And then I think this is the second iteration of the palace. I think the first one burnt down a long time ago. But look at this is pretty nice, hey? This is in the middle of Saigon, so it's a couple of nice restaurants over there that you can hang out in. So yeah, if you're watching and you've got a few questions to ask about life in Saigon, what it's like to live in Saigon, perhaps you're planning on coming to Saigon and you're not sure what to do, because let's face it, a lot of people come here come here, stay a night, and then get the hell out of here because it's a big city. But there's more to it than that. So yeah, make sure you ask me any questions. You can ask these questions after the live as well. You can ask in the comments section and I'll get back to you. I'll definitely get back to you. So do that. And okay, I think we can cross now. They must be doing some kind of TV show or something like that. Hello, Cynthia. But yeah, something to keep in mind for anyone thinking about coming here. I'm not a tour guide, or I'm not selling trips or anything like that. I'm just trying to help people make good decisions about their time in Saigon, because I've lived here for a long time. And this year will be 50 years since the end of the war. So I expect a lot of things will be happening. There'll be a lot of things happening in Saigon. That'll be in April, especially around April 30. It's always a public holiday anyway. So keep that in mind. It's usually a long weekend or a long holiday. This year it'll probably be about a week, I guess. And we're nearly up to the Reunification Palace. It's a beautiful day. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the camera still. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, 50 years ago, nearly 50 years ago, North Vietnamese tanks burst through these gates and onto the lawns and stormed the building, and that basically heralded the end of the war. So very historic location. Hello, xin chào. And here we go, and this is it here. I actually think it's one of the best buildings in all of Saigon, because you can go in there and a lot of it is still as it was back then, 50 years ago. So it's pretty rare in Saigon to have a building that is kind of set up still like it was. Most of them have either been demolished or repurposed. This one remains a bit of a museum, but it's also used for special events and stuff like that as well. It's cheap to get in, and I've been surprised on YouTube, especially with... I need to get better light, sorry. Let me just get better light. I've been very surprised with YouTubers, and a little bit disappointed, especially with Aussie ones, younger Aussie ones who come to Saigon and walk past this building and don't know what it was and don't know the significance of it for really what modern Vietnam is. And some of them even say that it's a little bit too cheap. A little bit too expensive for them to go in. The ticket's nothing really. I think it's a couple of bucks or $3. I don't know how much it is. I haven't been in for a couple of years, but it's well worth a visit. And I think it's something that people should do, interested in anything at all remotely about Vietnam's history, especially this year. I recommend a visit. I just hope you can see it on my camera. Hang on. I'll head across the street. Let's cross. Nearly got run over by police. Alright, should be able to get a better view of it here. Absolutely sensational day. I may get shooed away by security, but I'm just gonna go across here. Sorry, it's in late. And let me have a look through here. Here we go. Hopefully that's coming up okay on your screen. But they're absolutely beautiful today. Really worth checking out. There's a few old tanks there as well. And then looking back down Les One Street or Le One Street and to Bintan district. So there you have it. All right, I'm going to find some shade. All right, so there you have it. Thanks for watching. Very easy walk and tons of history just in that, we probably walked, I wouldn't even be a kilometre, I suppose. So there's lots of things to see. I guess my tip for you when coming to Saigon is to read up a little bit, because it's changed so much, especially over 50 years. I mean, that's half a century, so all cities change greatly over that period of time. I'm 50. I mean, I've changed a lot. So it'll definitely help if you do some reading up. There's plenty of stuff online about these places that we've walked past today. I've just got a passing interest in history. I'm not a historian or anything like that, and I don't really know, the real nuts and bolts of the political things that happened here. But you don't really need to know that much in order to enjoy what these areas can bring, and it helps you understand a lot about the country and the culture. All right, so don't forget, if you've got any questions or comments, make sure you drop them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you pretty quickly. And I think it's time to go and get a drink and have something to eat. I might go to one of those restaurants over there, I think. All right, so don't forget, every Sunday around about this time, around about 11 a.m, I'll be online live, so share it around, tell your friends, especially those who are thinking about coming to Vietnam. I get a lot of messages from people asking me specific things about Vietnam, and I'm doing these live sessions so that I don't really have to spend too much time answering questions individually. It's much easier to do it this way. So, all right, cool. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one next week.